Let's keep calm and mother on. Mothering is way too important to do alone and way too serious to be serious all the time. My name is Christy Thomas, and I am here shoulder to shoulder with you, mothering and enjoying life together. This is the podcast where you can focus on being mindful and taking a deep breath with me and learning new things so you can pause and savor the amazing life you already have. Now let's go. I wanted to release this episode last week, but when I went to edit it, I realized I had made a goof in the recording and there was a hissing sound that I didn't know how to get rid of on my own. Thankfully, my husband and my tech engineer teenager did the best that they could, and there's still a tiny hiss, but it's not as bad as it was. I can't wait for you to meet Bunmi Laditan. She went viral when she created the hilarious Twitter account, The Honest Toddler. Maybe you've read it. It helped me so much when I had toddlers. She had poetic honesty and just so much humor. But she's back with a brand new book that's called Dear God, Honest Prayers to a God Who Listens. This book is going to stir your heart and make you laugh out loud because Bunmi has such self-awareness and humor, and she knows how to wrestle with hard things. I'm excited to share this conversation that had me laughing.
Yeah, I hope the moms that are just starting out, they know that do what you need to do for your own sanity. You know, baby needs to sleep, baby needs to eat, baby needs to play.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. And change diapers.
And that your
Everything
sanity counts so much more than you give it credit for.
Oh, yes. It means everything. It means the difference between enjoying motherhood and this being like the worst part. Like your life being terrible. Your sanity is so important. It has to be
so
a priority.
So let's talk about your new book, Dear God.
Yes.
Where did you became famous to me because of The Honest Toddler, which is night and day different than the Dear God book.
Came out of left field, I know, because I never thought that I'd write a book like this, not in a million years. I'm writing humor books, parenting books, and I wrote confessions of domestic failure, it's along the same lines of all this mom stuff.
Right.
But I went on, and I've always, have I always been? I guess I've always been on a spiritual journey. In my mind, I believed God existed. I grew up, in a very strict religious household, but it didn't stick. And so I just really, what became my God was ambition. I believe ambition and ambition not for the sake of being popular or being famous, but I really, my parents were our first generation Nigerian, and they came here, and my dad went to university, and my mom studied too, but they didn't have, we were very poor.
Yep.
And food stamps, and at one point I have 3 brothers, 6 of us living in a 1-bedroom apartment and a 2-bedroom apartment, and just, they were really struggling for a long time. And I ended up moving out at 16, because there was also a lot of kind of anger, and it was hard. It was really hard times. Poverty goes right
alongside. It's a hard place to come from.
Yes, and I decided, I'm always going to have a place to live. Because when I left home at 16, I was homeless for a little while, and then I slept on the floor of a friend's house for a while too, and I just decided I'm always going to have a home. I'm never going to be vulnerable to anybody again. I'm just going to take care of myself. And so I saw the way to do that was to build a business or be in business. Mm-hmm. So I was a social media manager. And then Honest Toddler just came out of just me venting about motherhood. Just I'd always wanted to be a writer. So I was like, okay, I can write now. And I was writing books. And still, my life was about me building my life. Even with my family, me just holding on with a death grip to family and to what I considered security. Mm-hmm. The two things that I didn't really have as a kid. And as hard as I tried, I lost it all. I couldn't hold on to it. And that brought me to really just literally looking at I was in the synagogue that I used to go to, and I went there at night, and I just stood in front of the Torah, and I converted to Judaism in early 20s, and I just said, okay, God, I need you. You know, I'd never been religious. You know, in my prayer life had been like saying Hebrew prayers, but it wasn't like a conversation.
They're very structured.
Yeah,
right?
they're very structured.
The Jewish prayers. Because I grew up in an area that had a lot of families that observed, and it was a very formulaic.
Yes, like structure. The prayers are for specific things. So, the prayers for before you eat this kind of food, the Shema, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, Lord is one, in the morning at night. So the prayers that I was saying, and then praying the Psalms. So there's a very rich prayer life in Judaism, and I know that a lot of, it's not to say Jews don't do personal prayers, but for me, I didn't do personal prayers.
I see it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, and I'm Catholic by tradition. We have a lot of formulaic
yes, so you understand
prayers too.
It's like that. So
that are wrote and passed down, and there's beauty in that, but they're not necessarily personalized.
Exactly, and that's exactly how it is. You have your prayers that are prescribed, that are what you say, and then depending on the level of spirituality of the person, they might pray their own prayers, or they might not. For me, I did not.
I just, totally understand.
Yeah, and so because I decided, if God even is real, He didn't care about my family, so we're not those special ones, and we're not the special ones, not for the good people.
Yeah.
But at that moment where everything was kind of falling apart, divorce, and I'm in Canada. I didn't grow up in Canada. I'm from California. I just don't know anyone. I have no one. I didn't even have friends. I'd gone looking for not really God, but I would say power in spirituality everywhere. Yeah. New Age movement, all about manifesting what you want, manifesting your desires. Channeling.
It's really sleek and easy trap to fall into.
Oh, yes, it is, because it's all about personal power. It's all about you compel the spiritual world to do what you want. And that's what I wanted. So I wanted to be God. That's what it's about. It's about saying, no, you're this mini God. You can do it. It's not about God telling you about yourself. You're going to say, this is what I want from the world. This. And I'm going to do what I need to attract it to myself. I did that. It got very dark very quickly, because I think what a lot of people don't understand is, yes, the spiritual world is real, but
so real.
It's very real, but not everything's benevolent. Not everything's nice. There are things that want your destruction and will trick you. Not everyone who appears to you or who you feel is nice, even if they seem nice. And I just wish that people understood the level of deception that occurs in the spiritual world, and how careful one needs to be with doors that they open. Because things have such pretty packaging. Oh my goodness, especially these days, there's such beautiful packaging from things that will just rip your life apart.
So pretty. They market it so well.
They market it beautifully, peaceful, promise you this. You are your own God. You are, you are, I'm the master of my shit, but I drove it into I can practice it. So, and so I turned to God and I said, okay, I need you. I finally get to the place where I say, I realize, look what I've done. I know you can see it, and I need you. And at that point, it began my slow walk home, the prodigal son. And he did. He saw me coming on the horizon and ran to me, just like that story. And I'm still kind of in awe and shock, and that's why I just love him so much. Yeah. Because his love is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah. It's amazing. It's just beautiful. An amazing thing. And every time I hear the prodigal son story, I relate to a different character in it.
Yes. I love that. Yes, you can think of yourself kind of as the dad, and you're dealing with someone who's coming back, or even the brother. who's like, I've been good all along.
The brother who's done all the work the whole time.
Yeah. Now he's back and we're throwing to a party.
Yep.
Really? Just like that?
Yep. Every time I go through a hardship, I'm like, which one am I in this story?
Oh, I love that. I have to think about the next time I'm, feeling kind of petty about anything. Because sometimes, you are. It's like, God, why is this happening for them? I've been doing this.
So God comes running after you. Is that when you start writing your prayers?
Yes. Actually, it was even before I knew of Yeshua, Jesus.
Yes.
Before I even knew him and understood, before he revealed himself to me, because I didn't even know what to look for, I started praying and started writing in a journal to God. And then, I just felt something calling me. I could almost hear it. It was not with my ears. It's just like I knew something was calling me and calling me specifically. And I thought it was a person. It's so strange, I know. But
it makes sense.
Echo. It does? Okay. Almost like an echo in the distance, like calling me. And I almost made me want to look around sometimes. And so I started asking God, I said, and I still don't even know why, but I said, okay, so let's God, Jesus. Because I studied Islam too. I really got deep into that, and in Islam, Jesus is called Isa. He's a prophet. In Judaism, he's a nice Jewish boy who took things too far.
Exactly.
And his followers then later persecuted them. So it's like, no, we don't do that. Yep. In Christianity, though, growing up, Son of God, I never understood what that meant. Talking God of the Son, but he's also God. Okay, what are we doing now? And so I said, I'm asking
that
God,
mystery is a big one.
It didn't make sense to me. So I'm asking God, because at this point, I just wanted the truth. I wanted the truth. I didn't care what it was. I had lived all of the lies, all of the things that weren't right for me. They didn't fit me right. People can do what they want, but I just wanted God to tell me, who is he? Everyone says something different, and I'm standing on my patio, looking out at the grass, and there's like all of this green grass, and just looking out at it, and I just felt this presence behind me, and normally if I feel like a person, you can feel someone like a person, that would be terrifying, but I knew it was a person, quote unquote, like I felt it was presence, and it was the most loving, kind, powerful but gentle. And that's something that I hadn't experienced a lot of, power and gentle being together. I actually didn't. I don't think that was the first time I experienced anything like that. Powerful, gentle. I knew that he knew me and loved me, and I knew that it was Jesus. I knew this is Yeshua. And then I knew that he is who he says he is in the Bible. His presence spoke for him. Didn't have to say a thing. And I just knew. And then from then on, I was like, okay, well that's what I'm doing. so that became, my first steps, and from then on, I've loved him, I've loved God, and I learned more and more all the time about what his sacrifice meant and means. My kids all believe too now. It's so wild because you think my kids would be so like twisted up, but no, kids. Well, it's God. It's just God. He's made it so easy for them. They're just like, yeah, of course. And
I think that when you love God, and I can see it in your face, like you're just glowing from it.
Oh, thank you.
Like it would be hard for your kids not to notice there was something different.
Oh yeah, they definitely. I mean, it changes everything. That love. I didn't know that's the love that I had always been looking for. This is the security I've always been looking for. It's not a financial security. It's not even, I wouldn't even say maybe like, I don't know, it's not a security of the body. It's of the soul and of the heart. I can rest in him.
Yeah, and deep peace, sort of.
Yes. And I know this sounds so crazy to people because I was at a play center once, so this was like at least 5 years ago. And I'm just with one of my kids, and there's this mom who comes in, and she comes with at least 3 kids, but then she told me she had 5, and then she homeschools all of them. And she was just visiting Canada from Texas. Her husband was doing some kind of contract job. And I said, how do you do it? And she said, Jesus. And I thought, okay, all right.
Did you give her the side eye?
I was like, okay. And I could I didn't ask any questions, so I didn't want to hear anything. I just thought, okay, she's one of like those people. Because that answer doesn't make sense. How can a man that died, 2,000 years ago, how can he be helping you homeschool your kids? You just want to do some like weird talk to me, and I'm not open to it, And now I understand. He's not dead. He's alive, and he is. Oh my gosh. He helps me every single day.
I don't know how I would have done this pandemic. I read your book, and there are parts of it, like the part where I understand why you flooded the earth. Sometimes, all the time, daily, every 5 minutes, I look at the world and I know exactly why you flooded it. And I don't know how anyone hasn't felt that way in the last year.
This looks like one of those, sometimes like the world, to me, looks like one of those craft projects that you start that would be better just to throw away. Like, you can't save it. You know what I mean?
It's the nailed it version of a Pinterest craft.
It's like, no, don't put any more time or effort or money into this. Accept the loss and just put it in the outside trash. Don't put it in the inside trash where you need to look at it and feel bad. But God has a plan. It's up to me if I could like Thanos snap my fingers and just say goodnight, to everybody. Because I think we all just need to go good night sometimes for the sake of others.
For sure.
But he has a plan. And I don't know how people are getting through. So the reason I wrote this, it's funny, so my agent who said I was talking a lot about God on Twitter, so I talk about whatever is on my mind. Uh-huh. And she said, when you talk about this, you sound passionate about it. So I never thought I'd write. And I said, no way, I would never write about God. Immediately as I said that, he does that thing where he's like, that's it. And I'm like, no. And I told God, I'm just like, you and me have a very private thing. I'm loving, I'm enjoying this, just you and me. Why would we bring other people with us? And he made me think of someone who was like me, in the dark, lost. And then it became an easy decision, but still just kind of straight, Yeah. It became an easy decision because I know that there are people who just don't get it. Like, I didn't get it. And I want them to know that he's real, that he loves you, that he sent his son to die because there's sin in the world. Yep. And something has to pay for that sin. Our judicial system works the same way. You have to pay for consequences. And Jesus lived a sin-free life, and all we have to do is accept his gift. All we have to do is accept his gift, and then he's going to transform us from the inside out. Our desires change. Yes, we still have problems. I struggle with anxiety, depression. I take medication for it, but it's different when I know that I can rest in him. It's different when I'm up at night and I'm, hearing all these things. You're unlovable, and I can say, not true. I'm not unlovable. I'm not, because this person. It says, for God so loved the world that he died. He loves us.
He does, and you can look outside, right, and find the love notes in sunshine, creation, and rainbows, and baguettes, and
yes. No, he says this. So when this voice says this, no, he says this, and it makes all the difference in the world. I can feel him with me all the time. I can feel, but even in those times that I can't, even in those times where I'm just so stressed out, then I just know it. And all it takes is first I scroll YouTube for an hour trying to deal with my anxiety, and then
that you just freely admitted that. Because first you have to doom scroll or go on YouTube or
drink some coffee.
I don't know anyone who instantly snaps into
because we
remembering.
A part of us knows, okay, this is like a soul thing. Like, my soul is thirsty for God. But, I'm just going to try YouTube for 3 hours. And then, if that doesn't work, I don't know how God deals with us. I just, his love is so merciful and patient. Imagine,
it makes me a much better mom when I can remember how patient God is with me.
Exactly, because our kids do the same thing.
Because I'm like, yeah, I'd rather have some of those Swedish fish than. Can I just see if the Swedish fish will fill the hole first, please?
Right, exactly. Well, can I get ice cream?
Yep.
You haven't had dinner, I know, but I want ice cream. But you need to eat first. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I hear you. But can I have some ice cream?
But please.
Please.
Like the ice cream sounds like the better choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many choices that we try out first.
And he still accepts us. Like the Hosea, oh my gosh. Hosea, that story, that illustration of this woman who maybe she couldn't accept love. I don't know. People go through things, they're treated like subhuman, and because I know how that feels when you feel a little bit less human. And then even when you get that love, and I write about this, how even when God loved me, it was very hard to accept and trust his love in the beginning. It was hard for me to believe. I would read these words of love and think, well, then explain this. And he would just so patiently comfort me and speak to me and show me my choices. And he would show me my choices, and he would remind me that there is sin in the world. There's sin in the world, but I'm here. I am doing miracles. I am working on people. I am, there's also so much of his love in the world. And so he just began to heal these wounds slowly. Oh, it was painful as he would heal them sometimes. Sometimes
healing isn't...
Oh, no.
Isn't pain-free in any way, right?
It's not. Even when a doctor has to set a bone, and they have to clean a wound, it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, right? We have we're both moms. Like, I'm sure you've helped clean a kid's road rash out before.
Yes.
And you're like scrubbing to get all the pebbles out of the skin, and you're like, I know I don't want to do this, but we have to. We have to, because it'll get infected. It won't heal properly. We've got to take this pain now, or we'll have more pain later and longer. Yep. And so he did, and he'll hold you. The whole time he'll hold you. He'll give you so much grace as you're throwing this tantrum and trying to kick him. Yep. Totally. So if you could talk to one woman who's probably folding laundry or cleaning up the spill in her kitchen as she listens to this, who's just lost hope in the last year because of every hard thing that has happened, where would you have her start? What do you think?
I would have her start with, if she's lost hope, I would tell her that God is holding it for her. Sometimes we can't hold hope anymore, but he'll hold it for you. Even if you feel like it's gone, it's not. He will hold it for you. And that it's not over yet. There's a song I love. I know people have probably heard Waymaker, and it talks about Waymaker, Promise Keeper, and that even though you don't see him, he's working. Even though you can't feel him, he's working. So no matter what you're going through and what your life looks like, he's still loving and working and healing. And if you just keep talking to him, keep speaking to him, and also one thing that I want people to know, if you only have money for, any kind of book that talks about God or the Bible, get the Bible, because it's not just a book, it's alive. It is, it's wild. Like, as a writer, no one will write anything like, this book is alive. And I'm not trying to say magic spells. No, this book is alive. His spirit is in this book. It says that in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and then the Word became flesh. Yes, this book is him. So if you can just get in there and read Psalms, because King David went through it. He struggled. Oh yeah, he struggled.
Your prayers were full of lament. It reminded me of King David's laments. Your Dear God book. I was like we need more permission sometimes.
Yes.
To just, or at least maybe people, not everyone needs permission. I'm a permission seeker when I feel heavy with feelings. Like, I need someone to remind me that it's okay to put them all down.
Yes. He can take it. He knows you. You know how our kids don't show us their best sides. We wipe their butt. We know them all. They bring every emotion, every messy side of themselves. They'll have a big booger on their finger. Look at this. You need to, like, they are fully comfortable.
Yep. We see all the dance moves.
We've seen every dance move. We've seen every bark, every blowout, everything. And everything in between. And God has seen that all with us. He knows us. He's not fooled by our Instagrams. He knows who we are.
He has seen the awkward phase.
Yes. He knows about your deepest pains, your deepest shames, and none of those things separate you from him. So talk to him about the things that are hurting you the most. Don't worry how you sound. He can take it. Just let it all out. And then anything that you're just really struggling with, that you're going in circles with, give it to him. And you'll have to do it more than once. When I give things to God, I usually take them back after about 20 minutes. I just say, actually, I just want to chew on that some more and drive myself crazy. So you have to, like, give it to him over and over. And he'll be like, so you done with that? Or,
I think you just made someone feel like, oh, good, I'm not the only one.
Oh, no. I just have to give this to you. I'm tired of stressing about it. I can't fix it. I've tried. I can't do it. I'm just going to give it to you. And then, an hour later, I'm like, maybe if I just, I could just, well, I don't know. I mean, 2 years ago, okay, look, maybe this book about this. Okay, well, there's an Instagram reel that kind of addresses this subject. And I know God's just looking at me. Let me know when you're done. Let me know. And then I'm stressed again, freaking out that my life's over. And then I give it back to him. Rinse and repeat. We keep doing it. Keep doing it. Just give it back. Give it back to him again. Give it back to him again. And the harder your life is, the harder the things you're going through, the harder those things are, the more you just got to soak in him. I mean, ideally, we always stay in that place, but we're human. When things are going well, we tend to just, like, yippity-doo-dah, like, just go run through the fields and then come back when we hurt ourselves. Like,
yeah, right? I mean, but that's what our kids do when we get to bring them to a playground, right? They're like, peace out. Yeah. Run far away from you until they fall when they need the boo-boo kisses.
Exactly. When they have to the bathroom.
Or they hear the ice cream truck or whatever.
Yes.
Like when they have a need or a boo-boo.
Yes. Someone looks at them the wrong way, hit them.
Need reassurance that mom is still there.
Exactly.
The stranger danger vibe pops up and they're like,
Where's our mom? Where's our mommy?
Yep.
So if you're going through it, just go to him, read his word, listen to songs about him. Fill yourself with him, and when you draw near to him, he'll draw near to you. There's a verse that says that, and it's true. It's absolutely true. He loves you very much.
He does.
Yes.
Well, if someone needs to read a book, your book was really easy to read.
Thank you.
It's not, right? It's a book of prayers.
It's so just honest, very. And
some of them are very short. Some of them are longer, but the number of screenshots on my phone from your book, because I was reading it on Kindle, so many. I was like, oh, I need to remember that one. Oh, look at her. She just burned caterpillars.
I have questions about creation. I do. Mosquitoes, spiders, I understand where they fit into the ecosystem. Well, not mosquitoes, no. But spiders, I understand how they fit into the ecosystem, but I disagree with them, if that makes sense. I disagree with them. I just felt like I wanted to be honest and thought about that. How I just feel like they have too many legs, too many eyes. Like, it's like life is scary enough. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm not going to lie. He knows how I feel about it, and I just want to put it in black and white.
The panic. I live in a land right now that is full of pretty venomous snakes, and I feel that too. Like I've screamed a couple of times because there's been a snake when I opened the front door.
No.
And then the neighbors like text me, and I'm like, it's just a snake. Like, no mortal danger. Well, mortal danger, but like, like not an emergency.
I can't. Why is the snake at the front door? Like DoorDash, like Amazon Prime. Why
I don't know. They like to slither up there. I think it's like a shady spot at certain times of day. So they're like,
what are the natural predators for snakes?
Other snakes?
Other snakes. Oh my gosh. It's worse.
Probably some big birds. No, I don't. Alligators? Alligators might be.
Alligators? Okay.
Yeah. I've got those too. So.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not native to here, right? We moved here because the Navy sent us here. And when you start learning, right, like I learn about the things that may kill me every time I move to a new home. Right? Like, God, why did you make that?
That's scary. That's scary. I think everything should look like a kitten. Just
Maybe
different
he
sizes.
makes scary animals to make us turn to him more.
You know? Everything should look like either a puppy or a kitten. I would stop after puppies and kittens. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
A couple birds, puppies, kittens. There are 4 types of, like, animals. Like, that's it.
Like, my high schooler and I were talking about homeschool science, and I really wanted her to try to do a dissection because she's in biology.
Right.
And she's like, so about that. She's like, I don't think I can dissect anything. She's like, there's got to be a paper way to do it. And sure enough, there's like a paper model that you can build.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
And I was like, if you research it and find it and give me the options, like, we can do it. Like, we'll do your paper model dissection.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that was available, and I actually want to do that now. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, no, they have, like, all the traditional science things, from pig's eyes to, like... Earthworms and frogs, and...
I remember
it's like a lift the flap book.
Yeah.
So there you go. God has given people amazing ideas.
Yes, he has. He really has.
Okay, so at the end of every episode, I ask 2 things, and so I'll give you some space to think about it. Okay. So the first one is, what is an act of self-care that helps you and might help another mom?
Ooh, an act of self-care that helps me that might help another mom. Oh, for me, audiobooks. I really like them. They're super expensive, so I do like a subscription thing with so I like Audible. I don't get paid to it anymore, but I like it because I can get audio. I just love being told a story.
Yeah.
I think we're all have a 7-year-old inside. You can also actually get audiobooks for free from your library too. Mm-hmm. I get those too because with the service I can only get one, but I signed up for it's the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and so even in Canada, they have a branch in Canada, so they have this huge library, and you can check out ebooks and audiobooks. But I just love going to sleep with an audiobook, and I love biblical fiction so much. I'm like a fanatic. Tessa Afshar, Francine Rivers, Connie Lynn Cossette. Oh my gosh, so obsessed. Because these books, they help you think about God. These people are going through these things with God. I just love these stories. They build my faith. So that's something that I do just for me.
That's awesome.
In these books. And I love them. I love stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, there's something amazing about being read to. And that's why I love audiobooks too.
And you love them too. Oh, it feels so nurturing. You just get to rest. And someone's doing the talking.
Yes. In fact, that's one of my biggest homeschool mom hacks as an introvert is to use audiobooks with my kids.
Yes.
So that I don't do all the talking.
Okay, you and me, we must be made the same way because I want to read stories a lot, but I get tired of talking. I think I have a certain number of words a day. And when I hit that point, I can't do anymore.
And reading aloud well is an extroverted thing.
It is very much an extroverted thing.
Like you're acting, you're performing. It's not just reading the words on the page.
No, it takes a lot of energy to do. And I used to feel so bad that I would put on, because I do it with ebooks with them and audiobooks with them too, not ebooks, but audiobooks with my kids too. They love Sugar Creek Gang and all the other books. And for them, even when they read books on the YouTube where they do books, but I like it when it's nice and audiobook and there's no screen. Yeah. And I just feel so guilty when I'm not reading them, but I'm tired.
Those YouTube versions of picture books saved me when I was nursing some of my kids. The other kid was running around. Yes. And I'd be like, let's find a book on YouTube that someone else can read to both of us.
Oh, My son, who's 7, he likes it's Ani's house or Ani's house, I think.
Okay.
And she just reads stories.
That's awesome.
I love children's books too, so it's amazing for all of us.
It is great.
Yes.
It is like the perfect outsourcing because then we get to enjoy it together versus me doing the work of reading it.
Yes. And then interrupting with like 16,000 questions, and I'm like, where am I?
Uh-huh. And so the next question I have for you that I end the podcast with is that I think play is the glue of parent-child connection. So how do you play as a family or play with your kids? How do you pause and connect?
Yes, well, one thing we're really into right now is making slime. We're still doing that in 2021. So we always find like one thing we're doing, whether it's I keep all the cardboard boxes and make stuff, hot glue things, but now we're doing slime. I have this huge thing of glue. It's like enormous. It looks almost like a gallon of milk. And we just make so much slime. We keep them in Ziploc bags. They're all over the house.
Do you have a go-to slime recipe?
Oh, I do. Okay, so it's half a cup of any glue, half a cup of glue, and you only need a 1/4 teaspoon of borax. And I know borax isn't very healthy or whatever, but we're using it.
Yeah, but a 1/4 teaspoon isn't very much compared to.
That's not very much. No, it's a 1/4 teaspoon, and then so you use a cup of warm water to dissolve the borax, and then you just put the glue in. But first, you can put any kind of color, but use acrylic paint. Color your slime. And you just put it in the borax. It activates and mix it up. Easy. And you can use the borax mixture more than once. So you can make more than once. It'll still activate. And if it's having, if it's having a little trouble, you can add it, but you don't need a lot of borax. That's the thing.
That's awesome.
A lot. Yeah, and they love it. They have so much fun making slime.
Do you have slime rules?
Yes. Okay.
Because I can feel some mom's blood pressure growing up.
I know. Slime doesn't come out of the carpet. You have to cut a hole in the carpet. I know. So slime should be played in. And so I don't have carpet in my living room, but if you have carpet in your living room, that's where it gets played with. Play with it at the table or in a place where there isn't carpet. And then I give them little Ziploc bags. So that's where your slime lives. In the Ziploc bag, seal it. It lives there. So you just don't set it and go to the bathroom. You don't do that.
Yep.
Yes. So we've had issues with slime. It doesn't come out.
No.
And when it dries, okay. That's where it is now. That's where it is.
Yeah, it's not a forgiving substance.
It's not. It really isn't. And so that's been fun. That's been fun to do.
I love that that's what you said. I think you're the first mom ever that has ever told me slime.
I have fun playing with slime. I do. I love how it feels.
So I'll add in my hack. When my kids are doing slime or Play-Doh like that, I get out cookie sheets.
Nice.
And I tell them that is their zone. That is the only place. And their slime can move around or their Play-Doh can move around. But it must be on non-carpet floors and on the cookie sheet with the Ziploc.
Yes. When they do Play-Doh, because Play-Doh has come back in a huge way now because they're bored.
Yeah, and we're home.
We're home. And so they have to do it on the table, on the placemat. That's where the Play-Doh, all of your tools, your little knives, everything, it stays here. Play-Doh doesn't walk around.
No.
It doesn't walk around. The stuff gets sharp. When it dries, it gets sharp too.
Yeah, Play-Doh's a deadly weapon.
It is.
It's almost worse than Legos if you step on it.
It's sharp.
Uh-huh.
It's like a rock.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for sharing your faith with us. And I'm sure that other moms have laughed and felt seen and safe knowing that they can ask hard questions and that it might end up in a place of healing and hope. That I just was so blown away when you reminded people that God might be holding your hope for you.
Oh, thank you. He's held hope for me. I mean, he holds it all the time because sometimes we can't. sometimes you can't hold it. You know when our kids give us stuff to hold for them all the time?
Yeah.
They just because they think we're pack mules and that's what we love to do. This coat, this thing, this rock, don't you dare lose it. Come and ask for it 17 hours from now.
Or 4 weeks from now.
4 weeks from now, and I'm going to remember. Remember. He does that for us. Hold our hope if we can't. Sometimes we just can't anymore. We're human.
I love that. Thank you so much. If people want to find you, where do you want them to find you online? Besides going out to buy the book, Dear God.
I like to use this little indie website, Facebook. I don't know if you've heard of it. Really just kind of niche, It's so Bunmi.
Totally obscure. None of the people have heard it.
It's new. It's kind of different, offbeat. So I like
not at all controversial.
No, not at all. Just, nothing on there will scar you for life. Definitely won't get in arguments with your family. You won't do that.
Won't need to mute people and wish that you never had saw things that they wrote. So when you see them in real life, you don't bite your tongue.
I know, never. Just kittens and puppies. That's all it is there.
Yeah.
Kittens and puppies mostly.
So they can find you on that Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, Facebook, Bunmi Laditan. And on Instagram, it's Honest Toddler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
I apologize for the hissing sound that was in there for the recording. I tried my best. My husband worked really hard to get it out, but it was totally my mistake. So please accept my apologies, Bunmi. And I hope that you all laughed as much as we both did in this episode. Have an amazing day. I am so glad you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are exactly the right mom for your kids, and your kids are exactly the right kids for you. Bye.